So what's going on with the 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrids? We'll also talk a little bit shortly on the EcoBoost, but tonight's mostly going to be about the Maverick Hybrid. What's going on? I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Thank you for joining me. So the big news, I've got huge news tonight, so let's just put the pedal to the metal right off. Yesterday, so if you're watching this later, sorry, but Monday, the okay to buy was given on the Maverick. What this means is that Ford is now ready to ship out the Maverick Hybrids. But what does this mean? And what happened? Well, I had a fantastic email conversation with Ridgeview. We shared some ideas and loved what he had to say. He really quoted things and really covered, who said what and when. We had, in the previously I've had speculation of, I have had some speculations and I never had any full proof, but I speculated that something was either going on with the electric motor, which Ridgeview and I talked about. I think we're of the same opinion. We agree on a lot, it looks like, or the battery. Now, here's some news that really fits into this whole Maverick Hybrid okay to buy news. So the good news, first let's celebrate the good news. So cheers everyone. Great news, I just need that helps clear my throat. So the great news is Maverick Hybrids are ready to be shipped out. So that was announced October 29th. So right now it's October 30th. Soon you should be getting information if your Maverick Hybrid has already been built and has been sitting around. Well, the good news is shortly you should find out when that's going to get shipped. More good news, I highly suspect that some are going to be done before Christmas, because as I've said now for weeks and weeks, I suspected that, as soon as the EPA numbers came out, and even before the EPA numbers came out, I speculated that we weren't getting EPA numbers possibly because of something more than just needing the EPA numbers. And that became certain and just quite logical to me once the EPA numbers came out. And my internal information was saying that Mavericks, the plan was to start delivering them in January. Now, just finished watching Tim Bart's video and, he got the word directly from Mike Levine that the plan is January. But as he said, he's noticing some hybrids being scheduled for delivery at the end of December. And as I've said for weeks, I've felt that there's something holding back the Maverick and that, it's always better to do what I've been joking around and calling a pre-call than a recall. So much better to hold back the hold back the vehicle and, make sure everything is A-okay, like they did with the Lincoln MKZ back in 2013. They didn't want to debut a whole new vehicle and have issues. You don't want your buyer's first experience to be that they have a recall. So always better to do a pre-call because then nobody knows about it. And I think I might know very well what the pre-call is. I think it has to do with the battery. And, there's an article on Ford Authority by Edward Snitkoff, I believe, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And if I'm not, or Smitkoff, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I'm doing my best here. Just finished a long day and I haven't had supper yet. And it's rather quite late. It's almost 9 o'clock. So the Ford Motor Company is officially recalling and already have recalled hybrid Escapes in the US. Now that recall is coming down to two units in Canada. So these two units probably are front-wheel drive hybrid, all-wheel drive hybrid. And what's going on is that the battery had a possibility of just being turned off, so not functioning. And that, when the battery wouldn't function, the voltage battery I'm going to quote this, the voltage battery may shut down, causing the electric motor and engine to turn off. So there's a risk that you'd be driving and you'd lose your electric motor and possibly the engine as well. Good news. So far as Ford knows, no one has been affected by this. And what do you need to do if you're watching this and you own an Escape? Well, thank you for watching if you own an Escape. What you need to do is just wait. Ford will contact you if you're affected. And the great news is they're just going to switch the battery. They're going to remove it and give you a whole new battery. And if you want more information on this, you can call Ford customer service at 1-800-565-3673. Just Google it. You'll find the phone number for Ford customer service or the FOMOCO recall number. The FOMOCO recall number, which you will actually help them, get organized a little quicker, is 21S48. So that's 21S48. But either way, Ford is going to contact you if your vehicle is affected. Now, wouldn't it make sense that after the EPA numbers came out, because we were all clamoring for the EPA numbers, they came out, and I believe it was October, and then we were told that deliveries could start in January. Still what the official news is, but I think there'll actually be some, and I've said this for weeks, if everything goes A-OK, that we will see a few customers get them before Christmas, because that would just be the best publicity of all. I hope I'm not, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not trying to blow the lid or, ruin a great surprise, because I could be completely wrong. That's speculation, because that's just how I would do it. I'd have some great Facebook posts. I'd be very happy to see Facebook posts of people getting their hybrid Mavericks right before Christmas. It'll be the talk of the family parties for families that have ordered a hybrid Maverick or are thinking of getting one for, if you don't have one yet, well, you're probably going to be ordering one come next June or July for a 2023 model, because they're sold out. They're also sold out in Canada. So for my Canadian viewers, if you don't have a hybrid on order yet, they got sold out. The official date was November 15th. I'm actually wondering, from what I'm hearing from people who are writing into the show in the comment section saying that, they're the 6th of November or 10th of November, and they were told that they would not get a hybrid this year. Well, before making that official news, I do want to review it more, but that's what the buzz is. I heard it from the grapevine. And in this case, the grapevine is the fantastic comments section. By the way, thank you everyone who leaves a comment. That really helps get these videos out to more people. And hitting that like button and subscribing really does help feed a poodle, because it helps grow the channel, get more viewers on. That way we get more knowledge, and hey, knowledge is power. So the more this community grows, the better the comments section is. So please help get these videos out. So the affected vehicles so far are only the 2021 Ford Escape Hybrid. So the most recent Escape Hybrid with the most recent batteries in them. I'm thinking that, we've been waiting on the Maverick because, as I've said in other videos, I highly suspected that Ford wanted to make sure that everything is just perfect with the hybrid Maverick before sending it out, because it's a new model. It's, your first impression of anything is so important, and Ford's just making sure to get the first impression right. I mentioned that, January was being put on as a date to make sure that they had enough time to resolve any issues that might arise. And I'd say that it looks like if there were issues, they're resolved, because the okay to buy is out, meaning Ford will start shipping those Mavericks out. It means the ones that are scheduled to be produced won't sit in the parking lot. Once they're produced, they should get shipped out within a week or two, and those that have already been produced are already very soon gonna start shipping out. Now, if you're like me and you've ordered, Maggie has ordered a Maverick Hybrid, we have an XLT, and we took luxury pack underneath the old code. So the old code is all the same equipment, except it came with spray and bed liner. I've got news on that, so keep watching. It's pretty interesting, and it's pretty important. So if you've ordered an XLT luxury package, before the cutoff date, you'll have a spray and bed liner. Now, the Canadian website, and I believe even the American website, is still saying spray in. I know the Canadian website is definitely saying that the luxury pack on an XLT is still a spray in bed liner, and it's not a spray and bed liner. And I can't remember the exact date. I think it was October 30th, but either way, if you don't have a VIN assigned yet, or if you haven't been built, you can definitely look into switching to the new luxury package. It's about $100 or $150 less, and it comes in with the plastic bed liner. You can make that switch. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I think there's definitely a shortage of spray in material. The spray and bed liners are at a shortage at Ford. I've noticed that F-150s with spray and bed liners take longer to come in, and I've also been talking to other dealers in not just the very local area, but even further out, about 250 kilometers from where I'm at, and these are GM dealers. And the GM dealers, I spoke to 2 GM dealers, and they said that they definitely noticed that the spray and bed liner takes longer for their truck orders as well. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get built. It just means, simply put, that there's more demand than there is supply. So, if every week there's more people needing and wanting spray and bed liners than available material, well, it means you can get pushed back either a few weeks or maybe even a couple of months. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not able to pinpoint to whether it's a few weeks or a few months. I can say that definitely several weeks delays on many F-150 orders that have spray in. So we're not in a hurry anymore because Marie will have a great winter vehicle. So we're not in a hurry. We love the spray and bed liner. So we're going to probably hold on and just keep the spray and bed liner. But I want to let you know that if you are in a hurry, you might want to consider taking the luxury pack on the XLT under its new code. From memory, it's something like a 54B versus a 54L code, but your dealer will know how to just simply swap that code without you losing your spot. So that's that. To summarize, 2021 Wscape Hybrids. Ford openly saying there's a recall on that battery, that if you are affected, you will be contacted, so no worries there. If you're really worried, you can always call the FOMOCO recall number 21S48. Call Ford customer service. You can verify that. You could also call your service department, while you're calling up for your oil change, or if you're in your northern areas, putting on your winter tires, just ask the technicians, the people who serve you, ask them if you're affected by a recall if you have a hybrid. Now, that isn't the plug-in, that's the regular hybrid, which, other than the electric motor, is the same setup as the Maverick. So that's that. Now, I want you to hopefully subscribe, because next video is going to be for EcoBoost people. I'm going to tell you quickly the subject. There's 3 new tunes for they're Piggyback Systems, so you can get more power out of your EcoBoost Maverick, whether you've ordered a front-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive, and maybe you're lucky enough and you're already driving that Maverick. But there's 3 tunes, and depending on which tune you get, you can either look for more horsepower or better fuel efficiency, and actually up to 20% improvement in fuel economy. And the most aggressive tune is adding 29 horsepower and 33 pound-feet of torque. So next episode, I'll be talking about Piggyback Systems. What are they? It's not quite the same as, a programmer, because it doesn't reprogram your whole mapping and everything. It kind of tricks your sensors into, giving the computer different data so that the vehicle behaves differently, either more power or better fuel economy. Not both at the same time, but you can have different tunes. So good news. That'll be covered up in an upcoming video, probably Thursday or Friday. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for helping to dress that poodle. And, well, of course, I wish you more cars and more power. Hope you get to put the pedal to the metal this week, and wish you a great one. Take care.